Hello, everyone. Oh my gosh, all the lovely faces here. Mac Javadikar, Jeffrey Hazlett, my sister Renee. Oh gosh, welcome everyone. Nelly, Lee, how are you? Um, I mean, everyone, Jared is here. Uh, Susan Younger just joined. I mean, it's great to be here. Everybody's having a good day so far. Like it's just for some of us, it's just started, and in Ireland, it's probably evening, huh? Lee.
Yeah, it's about six. What is it?
Uh,
About
yeah, it's 7 minutes past four, Craig. You're looking well, sir.
Yeah, it's
Greg,
just
I'd like
about.
to introduce you to the furthest guest I think we have is from South Africa. And it's Colin here, Colin Horner. If you would like to, Colin, would you like to introduce yourself? You there? I guess he will in a
Colin's
bit.
from Colin's from South Africa.
Colin's from South Africa. He's a Liverpudlian who now lives in South Africa. Yeah.
Right, right,
Yeah.
great. We're just we're still some guests are coming in. It was a great session yesterday, Jeffrey, at the permission to pause, and it was so amazing to see all these amazing entrepreneurs come in and you know uh, talk to each other and just making such amazing relationship and building it.
yeah, it's
So
getting bigger and bigger. We love it.
for sure, yeah, it's definitely becoming a thing. I mean, I thank you for you and Trisha for a lovely partnership. I really enjoy that, and I learned so much from them. I learned so much from the group, and it's always become a very big source of like a resource center, if you will call it. So for those who know Jeffrey or those who don't know enough about Jeffrey, that you definitely must need to follow him and look out for him. We'll talk a little bit more during your interview. Um, I kind of wanted to do this session. A lot of people ask me about yoga and how it has changed my life and how it has affected all of us and how it can help. So I wanted to try that, but I'm just going to keep it very short today. We'll do some other set. I just want to tell you a few things about yoga and not get too much into actual doing yoga, but how important it is for your mind and body and soul, and how it can fix things for you without you knowing even that it's going to fix it for you. And that's what I took a session with my wife, and I took some, like basically it tells you all about how many different types of yogas are there. It goes too deep into it's a 21-day challenge that a guru from India started it, and we all joined. And I mean, we have to show up every day, single day for 21 days. And they take you through a journey. They take you through the past of the how it started, what was why are we doing what we're doing. So there are different types of asanas and yogas, and very simple. I'll take it some other time, but I just kind of wanted to bring the importance of this amazing technique that our ancestors have taught us and left us, that we can train our minds, we can train our body, we can reverse so many things. And I encourage you guys, even if it's a very small little thing that you can do with yoga, give it a try. Give it a try on your own. You can YouTube it. There's no fancy fees involved, there's no money involved, it's all free. It's absolutely free. I mean, I paid little less than a buck for 21 days, $1 per day or something like that, or some silly stuff. But it's all about the discipline that it puts you in. And once you get in, and you can actually technically reverse age yourself if you really go deep into it. I'm not that deep into it, I'll be very honest with you. I'm still very elementary and still in learning phases. But you can train your mind to do whatever you want. If you can imagine, you can do it. And that's how powerful yoga is. Um, I I plan to learn a little bit more. I want to take a course. I want to go down to Rishikesh, and in India. I want to go back and I want to learn it a little bit more, stay there and learn it. Maybe that might be a very good, it's definitely a mind, all your clutter is going to be gone. All your, it's all going to, simply you're going to have so much more clarity. Even if you do 10 minutes a day, 10 minutes, that's all. meditation or yoga or whatever that is. There is a very beautiful center here in Los Angeles, and there is so many others around the world. It's called Art of Living. Uh, and I don't know Sri Ravi Shankar, if you guys have heard of him, and if you do, I've met him in person, and it's an incredible journey to be with him. I went to his center, and I wasn't very much involved in yoga at the time, but the person who introduced me, they actually uh, uh, I just went there for to meet with Sri, and there was a little bit of time. Obviously he's a very busy person. He's millions of people want to meet with him. So I was just waiting in the dome. There was It's very peaceful, and I closed my eyes, and the guy told me to close my eyes and meditate, and it was 10 or 15 minutes. I felt like I opened my eyes. I could see without my eyeglasses. I could see. I have a pretty strong prescription. For those who don't know, I mean, I can see close very easily, but the distance I have to wear them on. Like if I drive, I need to put my glasses on. So I could literally, it was such beautiful clarity. Like I couldn't believe it. And actually I realized it was 40 minutes. I thought it was only 10 minutes. But I woke up after 40 minutes, sitting in his center, Guru in front of me. And I was like mesmerized. I'm like, what a powerful thing this is, that we don't know. You just that resetting yourself for 10 minutes in a day. Reset. Just don't do nothing. Put your phone away. Put everything else on the side. Don't think about um, what and why and everything. Just give yourself that few minutes, and it's very powerful. And then go back. Go back to what you were doing. See how much difference it's going to be. I mean, imagine. I have negative 2.75, almost 3, and I can't see beyond 10 feet. I have to put them on, otherwise it's blurry. And it was all gone. It was a crystal clear for that next whatever 15, 20 minutes, how much ever it lasted. Or it was maybe my mind, psychologically I was feeling very, very clear, and that was the reason. So that's my give for today, even just to start this meeting, that I encourage all of you. I know some people are still coming in because they're thinking this is going to be a yoga session. And Jeffrey was almost ready yesterday with his yoga
I
pants.
was, I've been practicing.
We'll do it some other day, Jeff. It's a, we have a very powerful, power pack speakers, and then I want to kind of get into some questions and answers after. So I'm thinking we'll just save it for another day to do the yoga session, if that's okay with you guys. I want to talk more today, and talk about the benefits and of how important it's in our lives. So, all right. Okay. So how is everybody feeling? Everybody doing great today? Yeah. Stretch out. Okay. Stretch out every time you get a chance. Get up and stretch out. We're sitting a lot more than we think, guys. I'm telling you, it is really, really, really important, because we're hunched and we're back and we're sitting for hours and hours. We don't realize, our necks and our backs, all of these things are taking so much stress, and without even realizing. It was a different world. We were getting up, we're getting in our cars, or we're going to different places, right? And all of that is kind of forgotten. you know all of that is going out of the, like this. Nobody wants to, like, I just want to go to my bathroom, shower up, get ready, and come down and open my laptop, and that's my office, and that's my commute. We're really, really missing out on very important things in life, which is our own body. Our own body, it needs us. The soul needs us. And it's very good. I see Jared really, really working on it. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. I love your cabin, bro. That's awesome. That's great. um yeah,
When you have, I thought we were going to do a yoga session. I was very excited to do yoga with you guys, and
I,
I
I
will share
promise
my
you we'll
story
get on it.
at some point. I'll share my story of yoga because it's kind of a good lesson. So let me know when that's a good time.
Yeah, we'll definitely do that. We'll get into that. um we're such entrepreneurs. We work really hard. We thrive to run these economies, and we make our just to whatever that your mission is or your ambition is, and we forget in that process that we're burning something. We're burning something. We're burning the fuel inside, and every now and then it's time to refuel us. We recharge and make it very powerful. And like we have so many dreams and we want to chase them, right? We want to chase,
Right,
we
a
want to
coffee
go after
box.
those things. But ultimately, how can we get there? How can we get there if we don't stop and rethink and repower, right? And this is something that you need to tell everybody around you as well. Not just yourself, like people around you, the loved ones around you. They all need to do mental stability. It will reduce so many things. It will wipe off, like not wipe off, but it will reduce suicide from tremendously. Like people are unstable and they don't know that the power of yoga can treat autism, can be treated, epilepsy can be treated, like unbelievable, endless benefits of this one free trick that the whole this is a whole medicine. You can use it as alternative medicine. Yoga can be used as. And that's it. Some of the other tips that I want to give, I got through COVID, myself and my family, with with blessings of God. We got all of us are out, and we turmeric water every day with lime, with basil, with all kinds of seeds, chia seeds. Use all these different things. Enrich your body and enrich your mind. Make very good use of your time, because that's one thing that's really not gonna be. It's once it's gone, it's gone. You don't have that. You can't reverse that anymore. So you owe this to yourself. Make it a promise to yourself, a challenge to yourself. If somebody wants to do this, you can reach me after. I'm down for it. Let's keep each other accountable. Let's do this. If you guys are on for it, just let me know and I will put up a session. I can do every day 30 minutes, small 30 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever you want. But it's very important that we do this. Okay. All right. How's everybody feeling now? It's ready for the session? Ready for some gurus to talk now? Yeah, I see David Corbin is in the house. David, good morning. Where are you? Is David here? David Corbin is here. Hey, Dan Labrad is here. Good to see you, buddy. We have people from almost several continents now. Wow, such a small crowd, but still we have very diverse crowd. Well, I'm going to announce the beginning of the session for Elevate. Elevate is where strong, high trust relationships are created, and we take pride in serving our community. This is giving back, it's giver's gain. We always give value to our people, and we pivot to our gurus to start and talk about how their passion and their life has been, and then give us some wisdom and how to handle these turbulent times and how to thrive in some great ones. So without further ado, I want to start this session by inviting Jeffrey Hazlett on the stage. Jeffrey, can you unmute yourself?
Sure.
Morning, how are you?
I'm doing great.
Okay, if you just don't mind, I know I can do an introduction for you, but and I've done it many times before, but I would just like from your own, you're the chairman of the C-Suite and Hero Club,
Sure.
and you C-Suite radio and TV and all that. Can you talk a little bit about your background?
Yeah, sure. So just for those who haven't had a chance to meet me, I'm Jeffrey Hazlett. I'm a former Fortune 100 officer. I've bought and sold about 250 companies in my career, about $25 billion in transactions. I serve on about 14 corporate boards today. Three or four, now four of them are now public. We just took one public. I just stepped down off. Many of you might remember. How many of you know DocuSign? Everybody know DocuSign here? So I used to serve on the board for DocuSign. I was helped when that company had like 18 employees. Started from that, and of course we took it public for a little over $21 billion last year. And immediately after we took it public, all the board of directors resigned, and then let the CEO take and put the people he thought was best moving forward. Because we came in with the chairman, Keith Kroc. For those who don't know Keith went public with Ariba for I think $6 billion, and then of course we took this company public for billions again. He's one of the few people I know that have done that. There are very few people with that kind of credentials, and so and he just served as the Undersecretary of the Department of State here in the U.S. But a very good friend of mine. And nonetheless, I'm a former chief of staff, United States Senate in the House. I worked in the legislature for years. Let's see that after I left, while I was at Kodak, I was a judge on Celebrity Apprentice for 3 years. Then I went on to create my own show on Bloomberg, which is a primetime television show, and then I also became a broadcaster on CBS as well, on radio podcast and on the Play It network that they had. And then I decided that they decided to get out of the business, so I took that and went and started C-Suite Radio. And here we are, almost 3 years later, with the world's largest business podcast network. We will be a little over 450 podcasts by the end of this next month, which is phenomenal growth. We grew at 450% last year. 100 that's in listeners, 120% in new shows, 137% in episodes, and we're already ahead of that pace for this year. So we're looking for more and more thought leaders who want to have a podcast or have a podcast. Come put it on our network. Let's affiliate together. Let's grow together and do that. So that's what so I'm doing all kinds of different things. We have a community that gets together on a real regular basis. Craig mentioned that with the C-Suite Network, we meet every Friday. We meet hundreds of times in a month. So there's a lot that we meet. But we have a meeting every single Friday. It's called Permission to Pause, where we just get together and do this. Just visit. And everybody share. We go into breakout rooms. And so, we used to have that. Remember before COVID, on Friday night, you'd like be driving home from work, or your day's done and you go meet with a colleague, and maybe you give each other a high five or a pat in the back, or maybe it was a shitty week and you give everybody a hug, whatever it might be. That's really what that Permission to Pause is about. And we're doing it. We got people from all over the world joining us. And, we try to schedule it for about an hour and a half, and it ends up being 3-4 hours long, and nobody wants to leave. And which is great, because we just go there until finally we're all just so tired. But we say, hey, bring your favorite beverage, and whatever it is, from water to wine to whiskey, and just bring it and enjoy yourself and have, or if, by the way, if you don't drink, you can't drink or shouldn't drink, by all means, we welcome you by any way, shape, or form. But we have lots of events. We got a Scotch Sunday event with every Sunday night. You can bring your favorite brown liquor. That's what we say, usually whiskey or bourbon or Scotch. You can bring wine. People bring wine. But if you bring a rosé, we will make fun of you without question.
Scott Sundays are my favorite, actually. That gave a birth to a beautiful idea. And I have designed and Jeffrey, you gotta see it. I'm working with Chuck Ebert on this with Scotch, a package for Father's Day, Scotch and watch.
Scotch and a watch. That's cool. Scotch and a watch. I love that. I just got I got my newest one from you here. And I just hooked it up and got everything going. It's just phenomenal.
Right. Yeah, the El Presidente.
I just hauled all my stuff from New York. I just closed one of our apartments in New York, and brought all my watches, and it's in a box. I got to find them. I got 15 of your watches. I got to go find them. Because they're in a box. They were secured. I marked the box so the movers wouldn't think, because I've got literally tens of thousands of dollars of watches in this box. And I was afraid, so I just marked the box socks. And so they would think, oh, it's socks, And
so for those of you, if you don't know what C-Suite is, and it's a very well-run organization, with very well managed. There's incredible. Jeffrey's right. There's so many events during the week, and it's been. Each one is, they have an incredible community also called Hero Club, which I'm also a part of. Yep. And that, is for CEOs and promoters who have businesses who are already thriving and doing and who want to excel. So there is several opportunities. And Jeff, I want to talk about your journey a little bit, after you
Sure.
quit, you always say time is inventory and all that, but how did you pivot into this, becoming this, chairman of C-Suite and C Network? Can you tell us, after you quit that corporate?
Well, when I was at Kodak, and then when I had a show, my television show on Bloomberg was called The C-Suite with Jeffrey Hazlett, where I took people into companies where 99% of the people who work for a company never even get into the C-suite. They know about the C-suite, but they're not allowed up there. And for security reasons, or just, because you just can't get up there, somebody stops you. But I've been in that situation for most of my career where I've been at that level and, or worked my way up from various levels. And here I am in in the Fortune 100 company, and I'm one of those officers. I'm sitting in these rooms. I'm finding out the people are no different than anybody else. There's no smarter, they're no dumber, they're no more charismatic, no more non-charismatic. They're just people. And what I wanted to do is show what happens in there and the way it happens and how. But at the same time, I know that when you're at a certain level, if you're a VP or higher, there's a certain conversation that occurs that you don't have with everybody else. And so how could we create a trusted community where I could have these kinds of conversations? So, I used to pay literally $50,000 a year to belong to a mastermind group of nothing but CMOs. And there was 50 of us from some of the top 50 companies, Verizon, GM. I mean, I can name, and I'm in the room and we only got together twice a year. We paid $50,000 just to get together twice a year. And the value of that was so intense, and of course, if you go back to Napoleon Hill's principles of a mastermind, the real true principles, not this bullshit fake profit principles that you see a lot of other people out there talking about, but real true things of a cool mastermind, then I saw, wow, we should do that. And so that's how the C-Suite Network was born. So how do I create a trusted community of leaders that are VP or higher that can get together to grow their business, grow their reach, grow their influence, grow their knowledge, and grow their lives? And that's the principle of the group. And so that's what led me. I just know the power of this group right here. Typically we would be getting together face to face. Well, that's awesome, but we're not. But we found that, by the way, getting together just like this here is just as powerful or more powerful because we can do it more often, right?
Right. Yeah.
So that's been a little bit of the pivot in the last year, Craig, where we were doing this face to face, and it was limiting us in terms of we can only do it when we're in Oklahoma, we can only do it when we're in LA, we can only do it when we're in Dallas or wherever it might be. And now we have the ability to not only do it here, but also take the message through the media, through the podcast, through television, through books, through articles and blogs, and be able to impact with greater reach. And so for me, it's really about three things. Are we relevant for each other? So I call it the 3 R's. First of all, are we relevant? So yeah, so how do you define relevancy? We have to be in the C-suite. We have to be VPs or higher. We have to put some kind of parameters that says this isn't for everyone. Well, we'd love to have everyone. We can do that, and we can impact them through different ways. The next then R becomes truly reach. How can I help you increase your reach? You increase mine together, and that leads us to the third R, which is reciprocity, because I should help you, you should help me. And that's what we find in the C-suite. And so the core value that we have in the C-suite is about giving. That if I give you something, so Lee, if you come to the meeting, what can I do for you? In fact, that's the first, if you get to know me, or you know most C-suite executives, the first thing they do when you come into their office or when you sit down with them is they say, how can I help you? I mean, I don't know of any conversations where that doesn't occur. And I want to be around people who say that. I want to be around people who believe it, who drink it and drink it like Kool-Aid, and it becomes an elixir of life for them. And so that's what we do. And so we come to give, and we do it in a very cool fashion. I mean, there's a few people here like Susan and Annalie and Dan and there's a couple of Jones. I see Jones there as well. So there's a number of people who are part of the community, and there's Jared as well. He's so busy stretching. Good, keep stretching, brother. So I always tell people, hey, come once as my guest, come twice as my guest. Third time, you should bring a hot dish. You got to bring something to the table, right? You got to get involved, and so I think that's.
I love how you, Jeff. I love how you embrace the community and how you bring people together and how you in this pandemic. I think we quite honestly we've learned so much from the group and from each other and especially from you. And I kind of want to tell people now we've got used to this pandemic. I mean, are you guys feeling this? Like in the beginning when it hit us, it was really hard and we were so like shocked, right? We were like, what the heck just happened? Like the world stopped. And look how easily, slowly, but of course we went through a lot and we lost a lot of people and we're very, our heart goes out to that. But we're adopted, right? Look how we've adopted all of these changes. The world, everyone that I know has thrived in pandemic. What is the reason behind it? What is the reason? The single reason is that we kept ourselves in front of people. The very most powerful thing to do is to keep innovating. In this pandemic, I can only tell you how many new businesses have thrived. So Jeff, tell us what
Yeah.
you did as soon as it hit, and
Well, yeah,
what are
we're
we
coming.
doing,
I mean, we're
what
coming
are we
up.
doing
Think about
now? Yeah, about
Yeah,
a year
think
now.
about this. We're coming up on the official, what I would call the official date for the pandemic. And I'll tell you what the official date for the pandemic was. March 13th, Friday, March 13th. You know what that way? That was the day they shut down Disney World. Shit gets serious when they shut down Disney World, right? I mean, actually, you got it. They don't even shut down for hurricanes. So on that Friday the 13th, I was in Orlando because I was about to step onto a ship for a cruise where I was speaking, and we were making the final decisions. And I was going to go, and I had two staff, a staff member and a family member with me, and I said, "No, you're staying. I'm not putting you at that risk. I'll go." What we didn't know is I said, I can't be that bad. I said, I was sick a few months ago, which I already had COVID back in January. I just didn't know I had it back then. Later told to me through the testing. But so on the Monday the 16th, I think that was the date. I came out and said, look, we're going to go on the offensive. We're not going to go on the defensive. We're going to go on the offensive. I said, look, I can't, and I wrote this kind of a manifesto with a New York Times. I wrote a New York Times editorial, and I said, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nurse. I can't even sew a mask, but what I can be is a business first responder, and we need business first respond. We're going to need first responders for healthcare. There's no doubt about it, and I already started to see that this was going to be a really rough thing. It was. If you get the sense of, you've ever, like 2008 when the recession hit us, I remember my CFO walking into the boardroom and he was white, and I said, Frank, what's the matter? And he says, this is going to be bad. And I said, well, how bad? He goes, he was literally thought he was going to have a heart attack. He knew it was going to be that bad. And he was one of the smartest CFOs I've ever met. He's gone on to a major job at a very public Fortune 3 company. And he was one of the few CFOs I ever respected. I mean, I never got along with CFOs as a chief marketing officer. Sometimes they're always like, cut this. And he was the one person who actually saw the value of, hey, you got to cut this. It affects this. And so we had some really great discussions. So I always respected him. And so I knew that this event was going to be like that, Craig. I just had that sense of like, this is not going to end well. So what can we do? And so we went on the offensive on the C-Suite network. And I knew, by the way, at the same time, I'm looking ahead at my own business, knowing this is going to cost me hundreds of thousands, if not millions, because all the events I had scheduled, all the events I'd put down deposits on, all that stuff was gone. And I had a big event that we were doing. It's called Battleship Forum. It was coming up in the next month. And that Battleship Forum, as I rented the USS Wisconsin, the battleship, we were going on the battleship and we were taking executives on a battleship, and I had admirals speaking and former members of the military speaking. And it was just going to be, a dream come true kind of event,
Yeah, no, incredibly. Yes, of course. I do remember we've done some of those events, Jeffrey, at the World Trade Center event. That was a phenomenal. And then we went to Sturgis, like the Black
the Crazy Horse. We went to the
Crazy
Crazy
Horse.
Horse Memorial. We walked out on the arm of
Oh my
Crazy
gosh,
Horse.
what a feeling. If you guys haven't been that or something like this, I recommend you just definitely take a trip down there or join C-Suite.
I just talked to the owners again, and we're going to be planning one for this next year. So I think next September we'll be doing another one at Crazy Horse, because I think we'll be through everything we need to be. So,
Yeah.
anyway,
Jeff,
that's where we saw the power of that. And but we had to pivot just by folks. Let me listen. I've run companies where my budgets were 17 billion or 187 billion dollars, but now I'm running a smaller business which I happen to own and lead. But never have I worked so hard this last year to make so little, right? But at the same time, I will tell you that our revenue is up, everything is up. But again, like most of us, we all had to pivot, we all had to change, and part of it's mindset, and the other stuff is just you gotta keep working until it's done. Why? Because you have to. That's what we're here to do. And our jobs are each of us have got certain things that we can do to stay in our lane and make things happen. And so each of us got to play our role. And so mine was, as I said, just like many of you who are coaches or trainers or thought leaders that are in this room or leaders of business, our jobs as business first responders. Our job is to get this country moving, or whatever country you're at. But the free enterprise exists. It only exists because we make it exist. We thrive to do and drive business, and so that is the core of what we have to do. And so whatever I have to do to make that happen, that's my mission.
Jeff, thanks for this. I have a few more minutes with you, and I want to touch up on one more subject, and I want to talk about the C-suite radio in particular. And
when you put, by the way, everybody that doesn't know, once you put the quarter in, you get to go the full ride with me. So that's what's totally cool.
Yeah, we definitely will put the quarters in. But tell people about what can they learn about the C-suite radio, and why is it becoming such a big thing, and the podcast in particular, and what the opportunity is there.
Well, if you look at podcasting as a whole, it's one of the most unique things right now. Podcasts are in the industry is trading at 100 times revenue. So for every dollar in, it's worth 100. I've never seen anything like that. Do I think it's really going to stay there? No, but I'll take $50 for every dollar you put in. It's worth $50. So, we've gone, we're worth a lot now. Where a year ago we were worth less, but the growth of that 450% growth that we've extenuated and are doing greater than that now. So first of all, think about podcasts. Podcast is the most intimate media there is, because with a podcast, you're right here, which puts you're the closest thing you can get to hear, right? And quite frankly, to hear. So it's a very unique medium that is unlike anything else. We've always had this humanistic kind of thing for oral history, for music. And so tying that together, meaning we're inside that, combined with the most personal device there is in the history of the world. I mean, you know where your phone is more than you know where your children are. Okay, think about it. If you lost your kids and your phone at the same time in a mall, what would you go looking for first? Okay, I'll just be honest. So when you combine that together with the ability that everybody has a story, everybody has something to give and tell, and we're past the days where this was a game of eyeballs and ears. Because broadcasting has always been a game of eyeballs and ears, because the big 3 stations, the 4 big stations, the 2 big whatever they were, had such a monopolistic thing. And we used to rush home to watch the show. We don't have to do that anymore. We can do it when we want it, how we want it, where we want it, as long as we want it. Stop, pause it, replay it, go back, listen again, or eject it. It doesn't make a difference. So we get to do that. We have now control of what goes in here, okay? What goes in here and what goes in here. So as a result of that, podcasting is massive. So, and I can give you all the stats on it. And we're the world's largest business podcast network. So I can tell you, what times most people listen, what devices they listen the most on. The average business podcast is between 23 and 27 minutes. When makes it good ad placements, what parts, when do they light up? I've got a map over here. It lights up the podcast matrix as people wake up or listen or whatever. And so it's really an ability to focus away from eyeballs and ears and to capture hearts and minds. And so for those people, and right now, COVID's forced this, okay? COVID forced the complete digital transformation. Now, we were on a digital transformation already. COVID forced it faster. Days became weeks, weeks became months, months became years, okay? So it's forcing us to get your frickin' business in shape and understand you can't operate like it used to be. And now every single one of us in this square, regardless of the business they're in, whether you're a coach, a trainer, a speaker, running a dry cleaning business, running an accounting business, you have to be a media company. And the easiest thing to be a media company
Is a podcast. Hallelujah.
Yep. And so for roughly $150, a show, right? You can have somebody produce it for you or do it yourself, do it yourself. But the key, and I always say this about media, content is king, activation's queen, context is the kingdom. Okay. And so where you put it. So I'm a real believer you have to have an affiliation with a network, because if you're not part of a tribe or family, you're in podcast purgatory. Okay. There are 235,000 podcasts in North America alone. Okay. How would you like to be up against that? Okay. So to create your own category, to create a place to be, affiliate with a network, that's why we think C-Suite Network that's why we're growing. I'll tell you that. That's why, because we can now, it's like being part of CBS. It's like being part of Fox. It's like we're creating our own network. Okay. And I'm doing that. And then I'm attracting millions. I just picked up 4 million new listeners yesterday. Hallelujah. Praise whatever God that you worship. I mean, because I am just so happy to do that. I mean, and so that means that I can now distribute those and invite those listeners to listen to all the other podcasts. Because if you like this guy right here, if I like Mac, I'm going to love Susan, because we're in the same family. We're in the same genre. Must be a reason why they're in there, And so therefore that's the power of that, Craig. It's just amazing. It's amazing.
That's
plus,
so incredible.
We sell advertising on it. So you make money. We make money. Everybody wins. It's all about that reciprocity.
Yeah, of course. And I think I love what you just said. I took a note of it. I don't know. That was like your nugget, the golden nugget that you just dropped is content is king, activation is queen, and context is the kingdom.
Absolutely.
Bravo, brother. Thank you so much for your amazing, inspirational, and great leadership that you provide, Jeffrey. I'm very thankful for you. And ladies and gentlemen, that's Jeffrey Hazlett. That's incredible.
I put my email in there. By the way, I put an invitation to come and join us on a Friday. There's a few people here that are obviously that are members and have found the enjoyment of it, the connection with other people, and we welcome you all. Come try it out.
Awesome. Okay. All right. That was a great session with Jeffrey. It's always fun, and we always learn. I always keep learning more and more from him. Every time I'm in room with him, I find myself filled with wisdom. Thank you, Jeffrey, for everything. Now, moving on, I have a great story to tell before I bring my next guest on. Just a little small story that I will tell. I think I was talking about it to someone yesterday, but I had a meeting at 9 a.m. yesterday, and I didn't know this person. They had booked a meeting somehow. They contacted me and they got my link, my Calendly, and they put a meeting, and they just said possibility of business ventures or something like that. So I thought I met them at one of the events, but actually when I got on the meeting, she was driving, so she pulled over. She's like, "I want to stop and I want to talk to you. I wasn't sure if you will take this meeting or not, but I since I'm here." So she turned on her camera, and I see a woman in her, I thought she was in her 40s or late 40s, early 50s maybe, and I'm like, her name is Ruth, and I said, "Ruth, so nice to meet you. Where did we meet? I don't remember seeing you." And she's like, "Oh, I see you on Facebook. We're friends on Facebook." And we're friends on Facebook with 5,000 people, but not everybody that you remember or you've never met. I never met that person, but I must have added her because there is so many common friends and whatnot. Long story short, I see a woman who is in her mid-age, and she's like, and there was a car seat that I could see in the back, and I'm like, "Oh, you've kids? Are you on a kid duty or something?" She's like, "No, these are for my grandchildren. I have 3 grandchildren." I'm like, "Wow, you don't look like a grandma to me, but okay." And she started telling her story. I said, "What can I do for you?" And she said, "Craig, I just wanted to I just wanted to tell you a little bit about where I am and what happened. She got into in a few years back. She got into a car accident, and somehow that car accident completely changed her life for worse. Like she got homeless. Like it just bankrupt her, and she lost her home, and something bad must have happened. But this is what she told me. She's like, I got homeless, and then I had to start cleaning people's home and making their beds and making cleaning hotels and rest. I mean, I would do anything just to put a shelter over my head. And I'm like, okay. And then wow. And she said, but then that gave me an idea. And I said, what is the idea? And she goes, the idea is that, she found a way, a unique way, a unique design of bed sheets that she innovated, she invented this bed sheets. And she said that reduces 50% of the time in putting up the bed sheet, and it reduces 70% of the time lifting the frame, lifting the bed, what do you call the cushion? Yeah, the bed, the frame, or whatever that is, like the one we sleep on. I can't remember what it's called now. Bed frame, bed sheet,
Mattress.
mattress. Thank you, Jeffrey. So she's like 75%. So she actually did a clinical. She went to the San Diego University, and um, she made a survey on it, or they made a research on it, and they proved it. They gave her a certificate that her bed sheets are 50% less, take less time, and 75% less lifting the mattress. And then they hooked her up with a few attorneys who can help her patent this, and she got 2 patents on it and a utility patent. Now she has a business that she's thriving. I mean, look at the power of this entrepreneur. She is cleaning homes and making beds, and then she says, you know what, no, I'm going to design and innovate something, and this country provides you this platform. That is freaking awesome. To me, that started my day. Like, I'm like, who am I? I don't even know who I am, because if that person can pivot from where they are in life, no home, no house. Imagine not having a house to live in, and God knows how she passed her time living where, in maybe missions or whatnot, what she did. But she pivoted. She had 3 daughters. I mean, then she has 3 grandchildren today. And she's a grandma, but she's a rock star grandma. She's freaking going like this, in a rocket ship. And she has already partnered up with so many other people, like to get into boutique hotels. She's like, I'm gonna be in all California. She could speak English very well, but she wasn't like fluent in English, but she was like, I'm gonna be in all boutique hotels in California. So that is a great inspirational story that I thought it was worth sharing. So that's a share. You can make out whatever you guys can. But that brings me to the next part of this meeting and this Elevate session. Again, we're giving knowledge, wisdom for your own benefit, and you can enrich yourself and others around you. So I want to invite my friend Marty Feller. Marty, are you in the house? Can you unmute yourself, please? Would you please unmute?
Sorry about that.
No
Yes,
worries. I have a
yes. Good
long.
morning, everyone.
Good
Thank you.
morning. Good
Thank you
morning.
for having me, Craig. I appreciate it.
My pleasure, Marty. Thank you for taking the time to speak with us today.
I apologize, by the way. I signed on a few moments too late or later than I caught most of what Jeff had to say, and I appreciated every word. I've never met him, but I know him by reputation, and it's a pleasure hearing him speak in person finally. I look forward to joining you on Friday at 5 p.m. That being said, I'm in a TV series that is yet to be picked up, but we're filming today, and I had to arrange a couple of cars, and I lost track of time, so I signed on a few minutes late. My apologies. I hope no one takes it.
No apologies, no offense taken. Absolutely, you're welcome. I'm glad you came on time.
Thank you.
But guys, I'll tell you a little bit about him, and then we'll let him tell his own story in his own words. Very inspiring. But he's a very successful. He's by profession, he's a doctor, and he's been a ophthalmologist, if I'm not mistaken, Marty. That's correct.
Yeah.
Yes. And he's been a very successful doctor. He's got a phenomenal business. He's got multiple. He's a deca millionaire. He's got a beautiful home in San Diego area, and he's got a love for his. The reason I love him is because of his cars, and I love all his fancy cars. I'm just
Thank
kidding.
you.
No, he's got a great taste. He's got a great taste in style, as you can tell from his own dress up. But he's also got a great taste in life. But I want to kind of hear your story in how you came about, from, we talked a little bit about it, but how you were, what was your journey through success, and can you tell us a little bit about your how you made what you made in life? How was it? Tell us your story.
Absolutely. Um, uh, my specialty was, in fact, eyelid plastic surgery, what they call ophthalmic plastic surgery, training both in ophthalmology, eye surgery, and then further fellowship training in eyelid plastic surgery. Clearly, my goal was perfection, and I wanted to be not just a specialist in eye surgery. I wanted to subspecialize in eyelid plastic surgery. It's one of the more common plastic surgical procedures that are being done today. Um, and in general, it's always been the purview of either the ophthalmologist or the plastic surgeon. But roughly about 20 some odd years ago, 30 years ago, it became its own subspecialty. So I found that my greatest strength would be super specializing, really concentrating in just one area, and being that person that knows everything about a little bit rather than a little bit about everything. There's something to be said for both parts, for both aspects of that statement. But when it comes to surgery, I've always told people, if you can find someone who is narrow enough in their practice scope to include what you want to have done, that's going to be the more likely person you'll want to go to. And so that had been basically my goal, was to be doing pretty much the same several operations on a daily basis to perfect my technique and be able to promote myself on that specialist level. Now, with that, I ended up, because I was so anatomically local, it required me, or I felt it required me to become geographically diverse. And what I mean by that is that I stayed within the eyelid area in the operating room, but I ended up with over 14 locations throughout California, and then one even in Utah. And so that's my story. Now, on its face, it seems rather inapplicable to virtually everyone else's life except my own. But the reality is, a lot of the basic principles that got me to my success are basic principles of business and relationships and life in general. And my first entree into the podcast world was a fellow named Dennis Langley, has the 5 Minute Bark podcast down here in San Diego about 7 or 8 years ago, way before COVID. And he had asked me to come on. I thought, and I echo what Jeffrey had just said about the podcast medium. Now, granted, 7, 8 years ago, we had the competition from network TV and everything else, and just social events we had where you'd actually meet people in person. So the podcasting had its place even back then, but even more so within the last year. But I thought, what a great way, what a great medium through which to spread my thoughts and my story. And what had given me more impetus to do this was several meetings with someone I think many of you know, Dr. Greg Reed, who lives here in San Diego, was one of the co-producers of the Wish Man movie that memorialized Frank Shankwitz's life. May he rest in peace. And the story that he had told. And we had several lunches together, and I see him socially at different events. And he said, "You've got to." And we talked about my story, like I'll do briefly here in the minutes that I have left. He said, "You should write a book." And I said, "Oh, I don't take the time." And but he said, "I think you should call it The Power of Kindness," because that was, I guess, the thread of everything that I talked about. So getting into what we wanted to discuss today, what we had discussed previously, Craig, the pathway to that success, whether it be business, relationships, or life. And I think kindness is basically at the heart of everything. Now, it may be people that have been hardened a bit by life will revert back to the, oh, nice guys finish last kind of a thing, and you've got to be hard. And the reality is you can be successful and kind. You can be successful and nice. And I like to think that I'm relatively living proof of that. And
Absolutely.
it,
Just to interject something, sorry,
please,
kindness is,
please.
yeah, kindness is also a currency. It's also, it's not just money is not the only currency. Kindness is one of the currencies. I
Oh,
always say that.
absolutely. And it's a major part of what I guess people now call social capital. And just a brief diversion for what I was going to say, based on your story this morning, I think another important point is that it is never too late to start or even to excel in what you're doing, nor is it ever too early. And it's okay to have that desire to move ahead, even before you have tangible options in front of you. Now, I started at 17. I applied and was accepted to a 5-year medical program that incorporated both college and medical school in 5 years. It was through the Pennsylvania State University and Jefferson Medical College, the second oldest medical school in the country in Philadelphia. And what they did was they didn't cut corners. They minimized duplication of education. So rather than taking microbiology or biochemistry in college, you just took it right into medical school. And so it was a very efficient way of getting through. And it sort of reflected who I was at the time, a young man in a hurry. I'm still in a hurry, no longer a young man, but I still feel that there's more that I should and could be doing. My most recent things involve film projects and some smaller movies that I'm involved with. And the reason for that is after a successful run of 17 years and 15,000 surgeries, I blew a couple of discs in my neck. And my fingers went numb in my left hand. And early in my 40s, I had to basically reinvent myself. I had gone to law school mid-career thinking there'd be something wonderful and entrepreneurial about having both an MD and a JD degree. And it turned out there really wasn't anything that I found, and I was still in practice at the time. So I simply returned to my practice, as did most of my classmates that were doctors from my medical school class. So it's okay to take some detours along the way. And I made some good business connections when I was in law school, but insofar as a new profession, it never happened. But when I did stop working, I was young enough to think, well, what am I going to do now? Financially, I had secured a pretty good nest egg, so that wasn't a financial issue, but it was more of what can I do to be of service to my fellow man now. I mean, I was used to doing 20, 30 cases a week and helping those people quite tangibly. And what I found was that it just required me to expand my horizons and get out of my own box of identifying, number one, eyelid plastic surgeon, number two, eyelid plastic surgeon, number three, eyelid plastic surgeon, then somewhere along the way, father and husband. And by expanding the concept of who I was to being just of service to other people, that allowed me to broaden my my voice among other people. And initially, I would meet people at different events when I was still in practice, and it would always be very sheepish, say, to ask me a question about medicine. I said, no, please ask me. I don't know anything else about politics, sports, or anything. I have nothing else to talk about, so that's great. And what I realized later on is that I did have business ideas, and I did have suggestions I could make to people. And many of the basic tenets that drove the success of my practice are applicable across the board. And if you can tune your eye to not look for the differences, but the commonalities among people that you know, you can find yourself being of service. People started asking me shortly after I was done my practice and I had time to be out around people, which was not the case before. They'd have a business question. I'd always preface my answer by saying, well, look, I have been successful, but keep in mind, I'm an eyelid plastic surgeon, pretty narrow specialty. I don't know how much help I can give you. And I found that many of the things that they would bring up did have some type of connection to what had made me successful. One of the things that had been a major sea change for myself and my practice was the concept of not limiting myself to one location, to one zip code, and that by willing to travel some and to develop relationships and cultivate relationships with practices throughout the state. Again, even one in Utah for over a year until we had too much snow out there. I said, no, I'm not doing this. I'm really very much of a warm weather guy. But other than that, most of those relationships ended up working out quite well. And the start of it when I was still quite young. I was a resident at UCLA and still in training. And we had a number of residents there, 8 per year. It was a fairly large program for ophthalmology training. And we had a group of detail people that would come through, salesmen, for lack of a better term, and selling different medicines, suture materials and equipment. And many of my fellow residents wouldn't give them the time of day. And coming from a home where I learned to treat the janitor with the same respect as the CEO, I gave them that respect. And what I didn't realize at age, whatever I was, 21 or something, I was building a supportive marketing network, and they were out singing my praises. I mean, I was quite well trained in doing eyelid plastic surgery. So when it came time to the end of my practice, I had a myriad of offers coming my way in terms of joining practices. And I settled on the one I ended up with in San Diego originally, hence the reason for living down here. But very quickly, I realized I didn't need to be anywhere 5 days a week or 6 days a week. I could be other places and just train the people around me to take care of the occasional issue that might arise post-operatively. And even within that context, I said, well, I have 5 days of the week. I can develop 5 locations, 1 day a week. Then it dawned on me, wait a minute, I don't have to be a place every week. I can be every other week. So that all of a sudden I can have 10. And so I don't have to be at a place for an entire day. I could just be there for half the day. So I could start in the morning in San Diego and end up in LA in the afternoon, God willing, and not too much traffic. But I could manage that. And so the idea of opening your mind to possibilities and allowing that to be part of your daily existence, you never know what may transpire from that. The one thing is, I don't know many of the people here. I know Jeffrey by reputation, Mac by reputation, and of course David Corbin I know personally. One of these days I'll join you on the pickleball court if I ever have time to coordinate with your schedule. But I don't know many of the other people here. But depending on where you are in your life, whatever the occupation you're currently in, try to strive to be the best at it. And not for the reasons that might be obvious, well, you make more money or whatever, just for your own soul. If whatever job or whatever occupation you have, knowing that you're the best or that you're trying your best at it, is enough to make a difference in your own feeling of self-worth and your own feeling of self-esteem. And it's hard then when you feel good about yourself to not project that. And the secondary gain, of course, would be the referrals that you might get, the happy clients that you'll have, the happy patients you might have. But
thank you.
Again, it's a matter of attitude to some degree, but also is doing the work as well. And so I think I'm just about out of my time frame.
Yeah, Marty,
So,
no, I just want to recap on what you said. You touched upon some amazing things. First of all, yes, I'm going to be with David Corbin playing pickleball too, and Rich Gordon and Greg Reed and all of that, and bringing him up is Greg is an incredible friend, and we'll talk more about it when David's session comes up. But let's just recap what you said, and I love some of the things. I would rather know everything about a little thing than I know little about everything. Is that correct? Did I
yes,
read?
it's sort of it's a takeoff of the jack of all trades, master of none.
None. I
Kind of,
got it. Okay, so I just
thinking about a little bit rather than a little bit about everything.
so
Yes.
I just want people to, whoever is making notes, I mean, I take my notes and I love this. And basic principles of success are the power of kindness. Kindness is a currency. Be service of be service to be of service to the other people. Concept of not limiting self, and
Yes.
treat the janitor with the same respect as the CEO. I mean, those are all beautiful, golden nuggets, as we say. Oh, Richard Gordon. Speaking of him, he's here. Okay.
And they're rather practical. I mean, on a one hand, they seem merely aspirational, but on a very practical level, they've incredibly impacted my life and paved the way to my success. And I just saw Josh Berglund come on. I want to give a shout out to him.
Josh.
I don't know too many people on the podcast, but I do know Josh, and still remember back in the day of our social events that we would attend together. But
Josh and Joan are doing great service to the community. I would like to acknowledge them, and I
yeah,
have you want to say something about them. But Dr. Marty Feller, thank you so much for
you know what? If I can have just one more minute,
Yes.
just two brief things I wanted to end this with. One is a quote from a lovely poet named Maya Angelou, who was one of Oprah Winfrey's real special people, and passed away not too long ago, unfortunately. But she said something very profound to me that comes to my mind on a regular basis, and that is, people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but they will never forget how you made them feel. Now, obviously, today I'm on a podcast and we've been talking. I hope you don't forget everything I said. I don't think I did too much besides talking, so there's not an issue there. But the idea of people never forgetting how you made them feel is extremely important. And I think we need to use that not only in our business relationships, but our personal relationships and our family relationships. The other aspect of that is sort of a somewhat vaguely related area is the acronym THINK before you speak, or thinking before you act. And the T stands for true, the H stands for helpful, the I is either important or inspirational, depends on who you're reading. The N is necessary, and finally the K is kind. And we keep that in mind when we're speaking or doing. True, helpful, inspirational / important, necessary, kind. I think we all tend to maybe speak a little bit too much and not listen enough. So that necessary is not an unimportant part of that acronym. But I just want to leave you with those two things. Appreciate the time. Appreciate being able to go over a couple minutes. And again, I apologize for coming on a few minutes late.
No
Thank
problem.
you all.
Thank you so much, Dr. Marty Feller is an incredible guy. If you guys get to know him, you'll know that he has a greatest heart and to give back. He's always with us. I mean, I used to run into him in several events, and he's also going to be a part of our charity golf tournament in September. So I'm very excited for this journey and this partnership.
Thank you, Craig. I appreciate and privileged to be here. Privileged and honored to be among such great people. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard Gordon. Your ears must be ringing, man. I just talked about you a second ago, and boom, you pop up. Where are you, my brother? I don't see you. Can you unmute yourself and say hello to everyone quickly?
Absolutely. Hello, everybody. Yeah, sorry I was a little late. I had to send the wife off for the morning, and then I jumped on. So
you're excused.
Always love hearing Dr. Marty.
Yes. Good morning, Richard.
You.
Yes. Thanks for joining us, Richard. Appreciate it.
Dr.
My pleasure. You got heavy hitters, Craig. I couldn't miss it. You got the top shelf in the room. So I couldn't miss it.
Top shelf in the room. We gotta. Yeah, man. Thanks for joining. I truly appreciate it. We were talking about playing pickleball next week or so in San Diego, in your neck of woods. So I'll definitely come out.
Got it.
You're right in time, Dr. David Corbin. David Corbin is about to come on as our next guest. I have a lengthy bio and all his accomplishments. But what really surprises me about this man is his humble heart and the way he connects with people and how he gives back and how he mentors them. And it could be anyone. And this is we met at Secret Knock. We met before at the City Galas and all, but we got to know each other really well at the Secret Knock and we were sitting together with David and I, and Shelly was sitting next to us, and him and Shelly were talking, and it was like the world didn't exist. They were just talking. They just kept talking. There's a big room and a lot of noise, but they were just talking, and it was very cool to know such a great leader amongst us is here, and And guys, when get to know him, you will understand that this man is so powerful, not just in his accomplishments and things that he has done. He's made millions and millions of dollars, and but his true heart that's the gold. That's gold. That one thing I can tell about David is his heart is unbelievable, and I want to learn so much from you, brother. And I always enjoy your company. But can you please take the stage and introduce yourself in just take 2 minutes and talk about yourself, and then we go into the questionnaire.
I'll say this: I do relish kindness. I do. I am love. You are love. One of my dear friends wrote a book called "Love is Just Damn Good Business." Love, energy, audacity, and proof. Steve Farber, wonderful, wonderful thought.
Steve Farber.
Yeah. I seduced Shelly with with my knowledge of the ancient Sanskrit when I said Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Sachidananda Murtaye Nich Prapanchaya Shantaya Niralambaya Tejase, which is a beautiful blessing in Sanskrit, which is pretty good for a nice little Jewish boy to know. But
well, I couldn't even have said 4 words.
Well, that's because you don't talk like me. I talk like me, you talk like you. I talk like me, and my talk B is better than you talk you. Yeah. So I've been in business, and I've done a lot of groovy things in business. I'm that old that, let's see, I invented software for optometry and ophthalmology, lifestyle survey, and I was awarded the Innovation of the Year by not only Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher and Tom Peters, but also Maya Angelou that Marty just mentioned, and honored to have received that. I like inventing things. Early on, I knew that the government had to prefer small, women-owned, minority-owned businesses. So I blew it up, man. I got permission from the Pentagon, the first ever, to publish their internal directories, and I invented the military's suppliers guides well before that www interweb googly thing, and I built that up to a reasonable size business, and sold it. Actually, I sold the business, or I would have lost the business, because I didn't know then what I know now, what I teach now, right? And so how many of you, by show of wiggly hands, are entrepreneurs? Can I get a sense of how many are entrepreneurs? Yeah. So what I didn't know, I thought I was an entrepreneur. I wasn't an entrepreneur. I was a technician who was good at certain things under an entrepreneurial seizure. I really wanted to be an entrepreneur. I wanted to have the freedom and flexibility to run my business and not work for someone else and have my own business that way. But I ended up working for a lunatic myself. I didn't understand the core components of business because I was a psychotherapist. I went to med school and decided after one day to drop out. I mean, I didn't know squat about business. So here's what I learned, and I'll share it. I just hit you with it. If you make believe your business has a voice, and you listen to the voice of your business and you say, yo, what do you need from me? What do you need from me? And you listen to it, and it will tell you the core components of what it needs from you. Like Jeff was talking about, marketing, social media marketing, but maybe it's going to be recruiting and hiring and training. And as Marty was talking about, replicating yourself so you don't have to do the post-blepharoplasty follow-ups, you can hire someone else to do it. So hire, maintain, manage, train, accounting, make a list of all those things. I like to make it in a wheel so that each one of those things is a spoke, right? So you got the hub, and then you got the outside, which is the perimeter. And every one of those suckers is a core job function. Then you get naked with yourself and expose yourself to yourself, and you rate yourself on all of those core functions. 10 at the end, at the outer perimeter, is mastery. Boom, cha-ching, you got it nailed, baby. 0 down by the hub means you suck. And you got to get real about that. Well, in that business that I invented a million years ago with the military and whatnot, I didn't know where I sucked. And the areas that I did suck, my partners and I used to say, well, we just don't have the time for that. We're so busy and we're expanding. Truth is, we could have made the time. It's just that we sucked and we didn't know where we sucked. So I learned to set goals to close the gaps. For where I was a 3 or a 4, to set a goal to be a 6 or a 7. Now, not that I wanted to study and learn accounting, but at least become a 4 so I could hire an accountant and keep them honest. And so they don't rip me off, So that I learned that. So I like solving problems. And there's a model I developed, and I just got a pop up on Facebook that 14 years ago, I posted me in this book that I had written called Illuminate. And I'm really proud that a couple of my books last year made it to the Wall Street Journal bestseller list. That was a major gig for me. And I am thrilled. That just means people are digging on some of the concepts that I'm sharing. So Illuminate, if you don't know, means, look, it's called Illuminate, harnessing the positive power of negative thinking. And nowhere does the positive mental attitude literature say we should ignore negative issues. I've read all the books and I've shared the platform with people from Dr. Norman Vincent Peale until I gave birth to Greg Reed. It's funny because his mom, we were so proud that one of his events early on, she goes, oh my God, she goes, I'm the mom and you're the dad. And I went, I don't think I remember that night. But anyway, I love working with
David, you're hilarious.
At all different sort of crazy levels and stuff like that. But
sure, go ahead.
I just want to say this. Illuminate says we can't solve everything we face. COVID, financial crises, riots. But it goes on to say in Illuminate, we can't solve anything unless we face it. Face it, follow it, and fix it. And that's critical, baby.
Sorry, we can't change everything. So what did you say? We can't change?
We can't solve everything we face, but we can't solve, and this is family, so I could say, we can't solve shit unless we face it. Face it, follow it, and fix it. And I did that with COVID. I illuminated it. I found out COVID was coming down, and I have friends in 3-letter organizations, and I found out sort of what it was about early on.
I was just going to say, sorry to cut you off, but I was just going to say that I want you to get into 2 things in particular. One is like, this just what you were about to say about how you first got, and then how you talk about the rejuvenation. So those 2 subjects I want to touch about. So,
all right.
So start with this first. Sorry to interrupt.
Number one, COVID came down. I'm a hypocrite if I don't live what I teach and I believe. Or, sometimes we know it and we don't always do it, right? So as soon as I found out this was coming down, I said, okay, I got to face this. I'm going to follow it and fix it. So I followed it. I followed it to, I think there'll be a whole lot of people unemployed. So I want to definitely make sure that I protect my goddess, not my property, but my goddess. So I got to, I've got a reasonable size home with a lot of windows and a lot of doors. So I got an alarm system. Never had it before, never even used to lock my doors. Number 2, I did a lot of things. I mean, the market, Jeffrey was talking about Disney. So I illuminated. I said, politics aside, I don't think that this president is going to step into this. What needs to be done? Again, politics aside, I'm not going into politics, but I looked at the personality and the psychology of the individual, and I said, I don't think he's going to step into it. Well, if he's not going to step into it, that means things are going to get worse before they get better. That means his disciples, like the president of Brazil and the CEO of the governor of Florida, who are his disciples, are not going to do what needs to be done until he says to do it. So I shorted the market. I shorted Disney. I knew Disney was governed by DeSantis in Florida, and he probably wasn't. I was skiing. I was on a ski trip in Utah, Marty, where I'm going back next week to ski. Because that snow is on our terms. We can come home to San Diego, right? And I was on a ski trip and I shorted the market. We shorted Disney, we shorted a lot of stuff, even Vail Resorts where we were staying. And we made millions of dollars in 3 days, millions of dollars. So that's Illuminate. But then let me segue into what Craig asked me to talk about earlier. I knew years ago as an inventor that one of the biggest problems in healthcare is stress, turnover, burnout, and all that sort of stuff, particularly in the emergency department where the fit hits the shan and it gets crazy. So we invented something years ago to help mitigate for that. We had a pod, a room, 4 foot by 4 foot. And our hypothesis was we can get them in that room, spa-like setting with a screen, a touch screen. So they had a choice of 7 different nature journeys with audio that they could sit there, and in about 3 to 5 minutes, our hypothesis was they go from their crazy roles and goals down into their souls so they could be more kind, as Dr. Marty said, more present with themselves and others. So this is hypothesis 2 years ago. Now, I'm not that smart, but I'm a figure it outer like the rest of my brother and sister entrepreneurs in these little boxes I'm looking at right now, from Pablo to Joshua to Joan to Peggy and Patricia and Kathy and blah, 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 right? We're figure it outers, right? So we first took it to the American big healthcare design conference. And they said, this is cool, but try this, do this, do this, do this, blah, 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 blah. And we took it. And then we took it to clinical testing at Houston Methodist Hospital. And we tested it for 4 months with people. How do you feel beforehand? How do you feel after? Bada bing, bada boom. We did what we planned, and it was cool. Right after clinical testing, 3 weeks later, we're going to go launch this whole thing. There was this virus that came out called COVID. You heard of it? And overpowered, obviously, the emergency department. So they really needed this, but they're really busy and stuff. Well, now I'm proud to say we're in 26 hospitals in New York City, and it's doing its thing. We built in. So here's the deal: sometimes you got to innovate on your innovation. And we just won the International Healthcare Design for Innovation Award. What we did was
project. Yeah, I love it. That's why I wanted to bring it up. Yeah.
So I got to hit fast because I set my timer because I ain't going over. So it was a room, but you can't put people in a room who just came out of a room and go into, because that's a COVID issue, even if I did double, triple HEPA filtration. So I went, we're going to innovate on this. So we created a kiosk. It's on wheels. It's small. It's less money. Instead of it $20,000, it's only $3,500. And if any of you guys want to buy one and donate it to your hospital, $3,500, do it. So the deal is, then we submitted, we became the winner recently of the International Healthcare Design for Innovation. So we innovated on the innovation, we pivoted on the pivot, and now we're serving many more people. And that's what there it is, And then TV stations came in and they did, covered it. So on the left is the pod, but now we're doing the kiosk on the right. We got Emmy Award-winning videographer, Emmy Award-winning music scoring dude. And so we're just blessing people with that. That's what the innovator does. That's what the individual, that lovely, magnificent woman who is one of my heroes now, I never knew she existed, went from homeless to 2 patents to serving people, including especially herself and her family, and serving. And I got a mic drop it, man. I set the alarm and I didn't want to go over.
No, thank you. I wanted people to see the visual, quickly, just so I put a blurb out there. But it's a great, what I was super impressed with what you've done. And there may be somebody that I want you to connect with already, David. This gentleman has converted the frequency of sound. Like when you hear the music at 440, he converts it to 432, and that the brain cells receive it very differently. And it's really proven and all of that. So maybe it's a play I can, plug it in, and I'll definitely connect you with him. But also Dr. I don't know, Hugh Ballou, he said hello to you. He said
he sent me a text this morning.
He did send you a text. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So thanks for sharing this unbelievable knowledge, guys. If you know David, and from what you can tell, already super uber connected, has multiple several businesses where he is very successful. Partnership with Ron Blackburn, people who are incredibly amazing, and are making change, like path breaking stuff in the world. And that's who he is. He's won many awards, like he said he is, and I'm very proud to call you my friend, David. And
Well,
and you're
let me say this because I want to finish with this. Just like
sure.
Marty had something that was very in his soul. He wanted every day. I wake up in the morning, and with my hands and my knees on the ground, I say four things: yes, please, more, and thank you. Yes to the universe because the universe wants me to have everything. Please, I say, David, please accept it and acknowledge it. Know that you are worthy of that. More and thank you. So there's that. And then at the end of the day, and I offer that up because it's been one of the greatest things during COVID for me to stay happy, healthy, successful, and thrive. And the next thing is at the end of the day, my bride and I sit right here in our living room, and she sits in that chair and I sit in this one, and we do our 1, 2, 3. What are 3 things that we're most grateful for from the day? And sometimes it's 4. And yesterday, one of my, I'll just tell you real quickly, was after pickleball, where we played, Richard and myself and my business partner, Ron, and Johnny Ringo, good friend. After that, we went to lunch and we had a deep sharing. And that was in my top 3. So at the end of the day, I recommend you do this with yourself or with a loved one every day, consistently, religiously. Every day, 3 things that you're grateful for. And if you want to add to that, you say, whose day did I make? And who made my day? So Corbin, out, mic drop. I send you love, and I sincerely hope that something I said, relayed, whatever, can bless you during these times.
Thank you, David.
Thank
Thank you
you,
for
David.
your, yeah,
Well
appreciate,
said.
really appreciate all your love and honesty and pure, genuine self as always. And I look forward to meeting you soon, and also at the golf tournament in September. Uh, I am excited, guys. I mean, I have a lot of
Greg,
stuff to
I'm
share.
sorry. I'm sorry to interrupt. My call time is 9:30 for this TV series, so I'm going to sign off. Will this be available on somewhere on the web,
Yep.
the
Yep.
podcast? Okay, I'll
We were
catch
going
it
to do
then.
Facebook Live, but I think somewhere we forgot to do that, and then we're gonna show a relay of it, and I'll send you a recording link. How's that? Good?
Wonderful. Thank you.
I'll
Thank
put
you
it up
so
on
much for having
Facebook Live later. I'll do
Marty,
the whole thing and put it
yeah,
up on Facebook Live and send you guys all the link.
Marty,
Perfect.
before you go, do you mind dropping your email or something? People can reach. Just do everyone.
Yes, I was just putting an excuse why I had to leave on in
All
the
right.
chat.
Okay.
I'll add my email. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a
Cool.
wonderful day and a wonderful weekend. David, always great to hear you. Jeffrey, it was great to hear at least the last part of what you said. Josh, great to see you. Richard, I'll see you all soon. Thank you very much.
Bye, Marty.
Peace out, Marty.
Thank you.
Guys, this is something that I learned along the way, that when you talk to such incredible people, when you're surrounded, you're the average of the 5 people you're surrounded with. That's what they say, right? Who said that? Did Jim Rohn say that, or someone said you're the average of 5 people that you surround yourself with? And I'm blessed to be surrounded by these unbelievable gurus, leaders, coaches, thought leaders that I take pride in saying that I've learned everything, because whatever I know a little bit is because of them. Thanks to them. I'm just want to make a little something fun before we go into the next one. This next guy is really one of my favorite people too. But I want to talk about, what are your favorite F words? Does everybody have favorite F words? Let me see some smiles and some eyeballs rolling here. What are the favorite F words? Um, some of my favorite F words are, I'll just tell you what they are, okay? Faith and foundation, family, fidelity, finance and fitness, food and frugality, future and fortune, freedom and fruition, These are my favorite F words that I always, I find them and I use them every time and try using this. There's a power of buzzwords. If you guys don't know this, there's a power in those buzzwords, in whatever you find, but use them and it will impact in your conversations with people. Let's say you're taking a meeting with Lee. If I was talking to Lee, and if I use some of those power words, it resonates with him. Somewhere it will, he will remember, or he or she or whoever that is will remember that how you said it, what you said it, in what context you said it, and that makes an impression, a strong, powerful impression. So I just wanted to share that with you. With that, I'm going to bring in my next guest. This gentleman he's been working, he worked for Pfizer as VP of Pfizer for 35 years. He's an extremely humble and very knowledgeable gentleman. He's a part of my ambassador partner club. He sits at the top, and he's been instrumental in teaching and helping and nurturing and mentoring so many people, including he met with Vice President Mike Pence last year while he was the vice president, and he was very instrumental in consulting Pfizer in development of the COVID vaccine that we all are taking now. And my privilege and honor to invite Mac Javadekar to the stage. Mac, can you please unmute yourself?
Yeah, I think, I hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can, Mac.
Good, good, good.
How are you today? Thanks for joining in early, and thanks for giving time. Mac is in New York, guys. If for people who don't know Mac, he is very, very, very knowledgeable and powerful. Mac, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I'm going to be, telling you about what I have done over last 40 years. After I immigrated to the United States in 1976, I got my doctorate in pharmaceutics from Minnesota. And so I was part of the University of Minnesota alumnus, and Pfizer recruited me right in Minnesota. And then I moved to Pfizer, moved to Connecticut to work at Pfizer in 1982 and worked just at Pfizer for all these years. And really, it was an incredible experience to work at Pfizer because you get not only the experience from the experts that you learn from, you get mentorship from the people who have done, the biggest things in the world in innovation and everything what you want to know about developing a drug. And so I got inducted into Pfizer, and was fortunate enough to get to work on the formulations. So Zoloft was my first formulation that I could work on at the bench level, which also became a huge blockbuster for Pfizer. After Zoloft came Zithromax, which was, again, azithromycin was licensed by Pfizer from another company. But then when we brought it in, we did all the clinical work, and the formulation for Zoloft, again, I was at the bench level to see, the tablet works as well as the sachet, which is the Zmax. And those things were brought up to market, and they became blockbusters. Followed by that was diflucan, which was invented or discovered in our UK facilities. And we got to work on some formulations for diflucan, which is an antifungal, followed by Viagra, which was also discovered in the UK. And we got to work on some life cycle management products for Viagra. And at the bench level, I could work on some faster onset Viagra, which was again needed for certain population, and I was fortunate enough to get to work on that. So it's almost like being there at the right time. So if you remember Peter Sellers' movie, Being There, you kind of things fall on your lap, and you happen to be there at the right time, at the right moment, and you kind of become kind of a recipient of these big things, and I happen to be that person who got to be there at the right time, and I've considered myself fortunate and lucky enough to to work hard at that. But I think if you work hard, you get lucky. I mean, that's my statement here. You got to work hard. And I think, also other things around this journey at Pfizer, I also learned that I think your network is your net worth. And I think that is something that you have to really take it by heart, because I learned that I think it's whom makes it so easy for you to go forward and make things happen. And once the
Absolutely.
things happen, you don't have any resistance to move forward.
Absolutely. I absolutely believe in that last sentence you said, the phrase you said, your network is your net worth. It's the hand you shake. That's what matters. And that's what we teach about in our mastermind programs, and we teach about that in our ambassador partner programs, that it's all about, of course, you work hard, and working hard is what you work hard and you get lucky. Absolutely. But when the right people and you're working in the right direction, that's when all the difference happens, right? It just goes like a rocket ship. Mac, can you tell everyone about your involvement with startups, and how you've been instrumental in helping, and I know you sit on board of a couple of uh, those companies that are going really big in breakthrough parts in technology and stuff like that. Can you just touch upon
Yeah,
on that?
yeah, I will elaborate on that, because you were instrumental, Craig, in introducing me with Dinesh Gauba at one of these secret knocks meetings that we saw each other at. And that was so fortunate, because I ended up talking to Dinesh and you at the parking lot while I was just about to leave. And I ended up sitting in the parking lot for 2 hours talking to Dinesh and what he does. So I think, so those things happen, as I said, and then we kept in touch, and then he brought to me this company called Clario Vision, which is a startup. And I think, I looked at that. I did some due diligence on what IP they have, what they have done. And clearly, that company I thought is going to do really well. And I think I kind of got involved in getting to know them better. I talked to the CEO, I talked to the chief science officer there, and got to really learn things from them. And I said, I'm going to support you in any way I can. So I have been a part of that. And now, it's coming to that stage now that they are going to have me take a board seat. This is because of the Bridgepoint Capital, where
Yep.
Mark Young came into picture. And that's all because of you and Dinesh. So thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations on that. And you've done great with that. You're helping a lot of startups and companies and people who want to, like his knowledge is immense, guys. He's just an encyclopedia of knowledge when it comes to health sciences and, anything to do with, uh, anything to do with physiology or, any kind of medical or chemical projects, anything you guys might have that you want to touch upon, that you please connect with Mac. Mac, also tell them how you're supporting young startups. I know you're working with. Yeah, let's talk about that a little
Yeah,
bit.
so I'm working with some young startups, which are again supported through this Bridgepoint Capital. And yesterday I had a call with them, and there are at least 5 or 6 companies that they are looking at in terms of funding and in terms of supporting. And also, it's a novel idea, and I think I like that idea that Mark Young has started. He has recruited about 6 or 7 graduate students from Columbia University here in New York, and they come and essentially get to work with us, and I'm kind of mentoring them to work with these startups and come up with some uh, things that could be of value for people to do the due diligence. And I think so some of those startups are coming through, and I think close to your heart, I think your daughter is doing a wonderful job. And I had a call with her yesterday, and her company Handle, which she's working on. I mean, she's working with Ernst and Young in Berlin, and I was again amazed by the fact of how much she knows, and how quickly she has turned around and gotten to be an entrepreneur. And I see her parents influencing her in a big way, and I think she has come to this bloom stage, and I told her, look, I mean, she showed what she's doing, and she asked my opinion. So I given her, my opinions, and I'll continue to talk to her. But I think amazing, growth that I have seen in her. So
Thank you, Mac. Thank you. That makes me very warm in my heart. Obviously, when your children are, and thanks for guiding her. And she's a great, yeah. Thank you. And just like her, there are so many hundreds of children who have startups and who have ideas, and these if they get mentorship like this, and if they get your support, and that they can uh, blossom into some major companies now that we see, and show them the right path. So I'm very thankful for you to do that, and I can't wait till the day that Handle comes to that situation, that position where they're ready for, and that would be a great thing for me and my family. But yes, I definitely want to thank you for. I know I wanted to touch more about it, but on maybe on another session about your connection with Lamborghini family and how you've been instrumental in helping some of the other ones. But Mac, I sincerely thank you. Consider you a very, very close friend. I look forward to seeing you soon. Definitely at the golf tournament again in September. You're definitely going to be there. Um, Guys, this is so good. I enjoy this because I really get to bring some great people together and great leaders together. But that also brings me some great companies that I'm partnering with. And I want to take a couple minutes with each one of them, and you will love to hear from this new company that I've just partnered with. It's called.
You broke up there, Craig. Sorry.
Is Gennady, you're here, Gennady?
Yes.
Oh, there you are.
Correct.
So Gennady came up with this cool app. It's called Fit for Bucks. They reward people for walking, and I just loved what he's doing. And I would like this. He's a featured company for today's event. I just want him to know that I have absolutely my 100% support behind this, and I kind of want him to say it with his own words. Gennady, can you talk about your app and your journey a little bit? Maybe 5 minutes total.
Yeah, thank you, Craig. I appreciate it. Yeah, so we developed this technology in Santa Monica. We have a startup here, and our mission was to connect local communities and connect local businesses like restaurants, coffee shops, spas, gyms with local customers and bring them together so they can utilize these motivational exercises and allow our app users who download this app get rewards for their everyday fitness. And this is how this app works. And the reason why I was so excited about it, because as you guys probably know, there are a lot of statistics that were published by CDC and American Heart Association that our society, just like societies around the world, are not exercising enough. There was a big study done by CDC like 5 years ago, and they surveyed 450,000 US adults. And the purpose of the surveys was to find out how much people are exercising. And the results came back and they were pretty shocking. They indicated that 80% of US adults are not getting enough exercise. And this is across all 50 states. And what the study indicated that our society is moving in the wrong direction. It sets up future problems like hypertension, diabetes, stress, productivity loss, backache, pains in the shoulders. So the question is, how would we motivate people to exercise more and be engaged with our exercise routines, right? And the study really opened my eyes into things that we need to do better. There are a lot of institutes, a lot of initiatives to improve motivation to exercise. So this is technology was designed to do, right? So what we've done, if you download this Fit for Bucks app from App Store, it's right now only available on iOS phones. Android is coming soon. This app connects to your activity tracker. It could be your Apple Watch or your Fitbit, or it could be your pedometer on your phone. And then by walking more and exercising more, you would get rewarded for that from local and online businesses. For example, you can walk 25,000 steps and you can get cappuccino from your favorite coffee shop. Or you walk 40,000 steps, you can get a shish kebab or a salad. Or if you walk 50,000 steps, you can get a free dance class from Arthur Murray or a discount on a watch like Craig produces, right? So what we do, we allow our community of app users to connect to local and online businesses and get rewarded for exercising. And the results been really phenomenal. We've been very happy with the way things are going. We partner up with UCLA Health, and now endocrinology department of UCLA Health basically letting all the patients know that if they download this free app, they walk more, it prevents diabetes. It can prevent also heart conditions. Walking is a big thing. Probably a lot of us know that American Heart Association recommends to walk 10,000 steps a day. Now, statistics indicate that average US adult walks only 4.8 thousand steps a day, which is half of what American Heart Association recommends, right? So this is our mission, right? Align ourselves with different health organizations, different universities, different doctors, and also like big events like LA Marathon, that 5K diabetes walk, Alzheimer's walk, cancer walks. Anybody who walks, can get benefited from that. And that's what we've done. Now we have about 50,000 registered users across the United States. More than half of them are in Los Angeles, where we started. And our future plans is to expand in different neighborhoods and different cities around California and then other states as well, to grow our communities of individuals and businesses. Now, the way this platform also can help businesses, when a restaurant or a coffee shop or a gym rewards community, we build them a really good presence in the app. We develop them landing pages for every product that they reward local customers, right? So our app users get to know healthy options and healthy products in the local restaurants as well as online brands. And we're also helping these businesses to get more traffic to the door when customers come in to pick up rewards, or traffic to the website when they're redeeming their discounts. They get to know the healthy options and then improving their sales and revenue. So it's a win-win for everybody, because as probably a lot of us know, the digital advertising can be quite expensive for a lot of brick and mortar businesses, because conversion rate on Google clicks or Facebook clicks is so small, 1 or 2%. Millions of businesses around the United States and other countries spending so much money on these digital channels to promote their products, and they're not even breaking even. So the multi-billion-dollar corporations like Google or Facebook or Yelp charging a lot of money for that, and they're not bringing enough traffic to the door, right? So we want to change the paradigm. So we significantly reducing this customer acquisition cost for small businesses as well as for online businesses, because we're charging them a very small commission for promoting their product in our app, and everybody wins. Our society wins. We're getting cool rewards for fitness. Our small and businesses win because they're getting traffic to the door at significantly lower customer acquisition cost and customer retention cost. Our healthcare wins because we're working more, we're exercising more. And we really hope that the only entities that may not win in this are those huge, digital platforms like Facebook or Google, who really, overcharging many businesses for their digital channels. So that's a mission of this platform.
Fantastic. Also, we just signed up as one of the vendors over there. Like, if you have vendors, like if you're selling anything, if you're in the business of, maybe restaurants or any kind of business, and you think that you want digital traffic or traffic through your doors on your brick and mortar, I highly suggest get in touch with him and get involved with that, because that will guaranteed bring, like if I have 167,000 steps that I walked in the last 2 weeks, and that steps, I can redeem right now on this app, literally, and I can go and purchase anything from here that I want for any amount, including my own watch. I can see that, that's there already. And so it's really a great tool. Plus, they're also a very great opportunity. This is a great opportunity for those who are investors or those who know that there is investment opportunities or no investors. This is a great investment opportunity as well, as they are raising capital and they are going to do it in stages. And the company is already on the road of success. It's we can give you more details if you guys contact us afterwards. You can contact Gennady directly, or you can ask me and I'll connect them with you. But I definitely a company to watch out. I mean, my eyes are on it. I have an eye for looking for unicorns, and I look for companies that I think will in 2-3 years will become IPOs or will become very successful. So you make a small investment and you let it grow and it becomes a massive return. And this is one of those opportunities. And what he's offering right now to early investors is really amazing. He's offering all the money back and with a profit, with a profit on that plus a share in the company. So you will have a position plus your money back. So it's a great opportunity for those who know that want to invest. Just reach out to him or me directly, and we will help you with that. Gennady, anything else you want to add, or?
Yeah, correct. Thank you. A couple of things, guys. So what we've done right now, what we're doing right now to help small businesses, especially food establishments that are open in these difficult COVID times, we are offering them a free, absolutely free 3 months advertising on our app. So if you know any owners or any managers of food establishments, coffee shops, restaurants, cafes, connect them to us, and we'll be happy to help them to increase their traffic and awareness. Okay, and also
go ahead. Sorry.
Ask me, for people who download this app on today's call, we will be offering them a sign-up bonus of 50,000 steps. So if you guys want to try it out or let your friends to try it out, you'll be getting bonus and you can use them right away to get some products you love.
50,000 steps for anyone who downloads it now, or now meaning after this call. Or
special for the next 4 hours.
Next 4 hours. If you download this app, you get 50,000 points automatically. His system will recognize that because it's in the next 4 hours. I guess they will recognize and you get 50,000 bonus points, which you can claim anything you want from there. Yes. So without even walking, you have steps. Which steps is his currency, by the way. I'm sure you understand that. I already see Joshua has a few brands and wants to include them for that. So Joshua, I suggest, Gennady, how can they get in touch with you? Put your information in here, please.
The best thing is they can either call me or email me at gennady@fit4bucks.com. The name of the company, Fit4Bucks.
I'll, I have a referral code I put up over here, guys. If you want to just use that to download this app, that would be great. And if you text me, I will connect you with, or Kathy will connect you with Gennady. Avital, I wish she was here on this call. I would have Avital is one of our ambassador partners, and she is wonderful. She's the one who made this connection with Gennady, and I'm very grateful for that, because this is going to turn into a very amazing partnership. I can already tell, and I'm very much, Joshua, you definitely should reach out to him, my friend, and anyone else who has any other ideas and want friends to. I'm sure you guys will all have. Thank you, Gennady, for that. I have one more person. Is Jared Bricks still in the house? Jared, are you around, brother?
I am. Thank you.
Jared, I would like to welcome you as a new partner in the Ambassador Club. And Jared has a very unique business and a very nice coaching business that I would like you to talk about briefly. Take a couple of minutes and just introduce yourself and the business.
That would be great. And I want to connect with Gennady, because I started something like this back in 2012, well before it was popular, and you took it to a great place. So I really want to connect with you offline. I called it Tracks back in the day of 2012. So I will connect with you offline. And I love what you're doing. It's really important.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Great, great model. I just signed up. Just signed up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm
Awesome.
excited to use it.
Hey,
So my name is, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm looking forward to hear your feedback.
Great, I will. Thank you. So my name is Jared Brick. People know me as Brick or Brick House. I've built my personal brand around the word Brick House. It started in photography and video, and now I'm a full-fledged media company as of 2013. So what we do is we help people on the beginning part of their journey become thought leaders. So people who are entrepreneurs, people who are startups, people who are coaches, speakers, authors, and have a variety of great things to offer the world. At some point, I realized that I wanted to scale myself. And so over the years, we had developed a system. And so we turned that into an online course. So I don't know of any other high-level online course that trains people how to become a thought leader at any stage and any age. So that means you could be a teenager, you could be a child entrepreneur, you could be at the end of your career and wanting to do something completely different and step into thought leadership. And the way that we define it is there's lots of experts in the world, lots of people who are experts at what they do. But until you have a following, until you have people that are listening to you and following you and want to hear from you, that's when you step into the thought leadership role. So we help people transition their expertise from whatever industry, whatever niche they're in, into that thought leadership role, all by leveraging media and syndication tools. So syndication is a channel of sharing where you're not giving one person one thing, you're giving 100 people or 1,000 people one thing. And then you can do that ongoing. So that's a way to scale up effectively as opposed to one-on-one. So yeah, it's called Break On Through. It's a 6-week program. It's myself and 4 other experts. It's interview style and it's video. There's a couple of downloads. It's very engaging. We basically named it Break On Through, named after the amazing musician and poet Jim Morrison of The Doors. And what's on the other side once you step into the light? What's on the other side once you break through? And I don't think a lot of people realize what that is. So when the Black Lives Matters activity happened last summer and the George Floyd murder, we said, okay, how can we help? And we immediately did a scholarship for African American people of color. We had 3 women entrepreneurs go through the program. And in 6 weeks, and under 6 weeks, they had new business offers, great new brands, a stronger business model, and a confidence and a clarity of speaking that they were completely shocked at. And I couldn't have been more grateful and humbled by to be able to give back to these women. So again, it's called Break On Through. It's a 6-week program. I can do a discount for anyone through this program of $500 off the program. It's normally $24.96. We can knock that down to $19.96. Great year for me personally. And yeah, let me know if you're interested. I'll put a link in the chat so you can learn more about me and the program and see if it's the right thing for you.
I actually would love to, we're announcing a partnership in terms of the watches too, right? So we'll talk about that later. But thanks for sharing, and I want to appreciate it, man. And we'll have you on one of the future panels. I definitely want to invite and actually take 1 or 2 minutes of Lee's. Lee, yeah, I think you're here. Yes, you are. Just unmute yourself and please briefly introduce. I met Lee through Kathy Barrow. She's working with me. She's a part of my ambassador program, and she's also managing it. And Lee is in Ireland. And Lee, why don't you introduce yourself just a little bit, couple minutes, please, if you can.
Thank you, Craig. I didn't expect this. Hi, everybody. I'm in the transformational coaching. I've been years in the psychotherapy or hypnotherapy, NLP type area. And I've developed, I suppose you could hear it as VARK, visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. But I would say I've developed a language for the subconscious. So, for example, if I'm a motivational speaker, I speak to the biology, the motor. If I'm an intellectual speaker, I speak to the mind. If I'm an empathetic speaker, I speak to the heart. If I'm an inspirational speaker, I speak to the spirit. If I'm a transformational speaker, I speak to all parts. So when somebody says they're stuck, to me, that's a physical term, which means it's their biology code. So if you looked at the mind, body, spirit, and heart, there's 4 different hard drives running 4 different operating systems. If you listen very carefully, people will tell you where their conflict is. So, for example, I had a lady phone me recently in the start of COVID. Her daughter wouldn't put on her undergarments, like underwear, socks, different things like that. And every morning it was a challenge for her mother. Now, to me, the biology runs the fight or flight, yeah, which you all understand that. But the biology, that fight or flight, when it's anxiety, is the internal code running the biology, not external. Fight or flight, like fight, flee, or freeze, is from external fear. Internal fear is a biological program, but it has the same effect. So I told the mother what to do. Bear in mind, they had this problem for 9 months. And one conversation for the mother, doing the right thing, speaking to the right part of the human, rather than trying to teach the human through the mind, she spoke to her child's biology. Her child's had no problem since with wearing items of clothing because her biology code heard her. So when somebody's sad, that's their emotions. When somebody's not proud about what they do, that's their spirit. When somebody's stressed or stuck, that's their biology. When they're confused, that's their mind. So really, I'm still teasing the final bits out, but that's really, Craig, I think what you wanted me to say. I'm not sure.
No, I just wanted to introduce you as, we're going to be working together, and we're looking forward to bringing Irish businesses to United States and vice versa. And we want to form new partnerships with you,
definitely,
your people and your companies out there. I just wanted to take a moment and acknowledge you. You've been here and came in, and I just wanted you to have a moment. And I want to also introduce. I mean, actually, I want to acknowledge your friend. How do I say it? I don't want to mispronounce your name.
Karen Hohey,
Karen.
Karen, phenomenal guy.
Thank you, Lee.
I suggested you two get together.
Yeah, definitely. Just take a minute and introduce yourself quickly. That would be great.
Sure, Craig. Yeah, I'm Kieran Hohey. I'm in Ireland, similarly to Lee. My background is running international operations for multinational, multi-million-dollar companies, so opening up international markets. And I've recently gone in the entrepreneurial route and have launched a platform called Table for One, which connects business travelers all around the world. So rather than spending time on your own, eating on your own, you can see the other business people in the same destination, and you can trade your loneliness or isolation for a life-changing opportunity.
Wonderful. I definitely want to have a one-on-one with you. I will sit down and chat with you. Welcome to our Elevate and our program. Thanks for being here. This is, we do this every month, but since last 4 months since I got COVID, since November, I didn't get to do anything because the last one we did was for Veterans Day, and I was really taken aback with everything, and now it's backing up and running. So this is our first one for the year, but you'll be seeing so many of these, and we have several events we're just picking up. And thanks for being in our meeting today.
Right, can I just introduce you to somebody? William, can you come here? This is my little boy, William. He was 8 yesterday.
Oh,
okay. Say hello to everybody, William.
Hey.
Oh, stand coming to the camera. Craig, do me a favour. Bear in mind, William's 8. Ask him who's the boss of him.
Who's the boss of you?
Me.
Me? Oh. You're the boss of you, huh?
Yeah. Am I the boss of you?
No.
Why?
Don't know.
You've done a good job there.
Well, well, that's the thing. He knows he thinks for him, doesn't you? Who's the boss of you?
Me.
Who decides for you?
Me.
Whose heart pumps in your chest?
Me.
Who thinks for you?
Me.
Whose feelings are your feelings?
Mine.
And whose life is it?
Mine.
And who makes the right choices?
Me.
Clever boy. See you soon.
We call them, young CEOs, as we say. He's a CEO in making. He's a CEO, right? I mean, that's great. That's lovely. How old is he?
I've
8?
got 11 of them. He's 8. I've got 11 of them. 4 of them fight for their country. One plays for the Connacht rugby team, and they've all got the same spirit, as in they know that their heart. But one thing they know, it's probably something strange. They know they've got a belly button.
They all know that they have a belly button.
Oh yeah, but they know they've got a belly button. They know what it means. It's their place of independence.
Perfect.
And they collaborate.
Awesome. Is Patricia Dunson still here, or is she just? Where I wanted to introduce her. Well, Manuela is here. Say hello, Manuela, if you're here. Manuela is from Italy.
I say hello to all of you, and thank you very much for this incredible event today. Thank you very much. Sorry, I'm like this because I could not hear from the PC, so I was quite upset, and I really wanted to join. Thank you very much, everybody. Plenty of
yeah, go ahead.
Plenty of idea, really plenty of ideas.
Great people, it's all about people, as I say, like be a promise keeper. I always say this in my sessions that be a promise keeper. Promise yourself and keep it. Build a mindset that you keep your promise. So that's one thing that I teach about talk about rather, is make a promise to yourself that this is what I'm going to do, and stick to it, and keep that promise. With that, guys, dream big, set the goal, make a plan, and then do it. Like that's the main thing. I hope this session was important. I mean, it got some value, and I want to thank all the amazing speakers, all of you that were present here, and people who are going to be watching this on Facebook and Instagram. Oh, am I covering something? Oh, sorry, my hand was. Yeah, I was just saying, I want to thank all of you incredible people from all around the world, and you're very giving, and we learn a lot from you. Let's come together. Let's build a very strong, powerful network where we can embrace those young companies that come in and make them future, show them the path. They don't have to fall through the, through the pit holes, or on the road that we had to face. So we can guide them and make it a very like make the economies thrive. Like our country is very, very, very powerful country, and it provides opportunities like no other country in the world. I'm very proud to say that I was blessed to I think I was meant to be here, and this is what I belong to, and I love every moment of this, and I enjoy it. So without any further ado, thank you, and feel free to connect with me. And if anybody wants to connect with anyone, just let me know. I'll be happy to do so. Ciao. Have a blessed weekend.
Be blessed, everyone.
Thank you, Craig. Take care, everyone.
Thank you for this, Craig.
Bye.
Thank you, Craig. Thanks, everyone.
Goodbye,
I'll stay until the last so that everybody walks out. I'll say bye to everyone. Manuela, thank you. Peggy, thank you so much.
Thank you for inviting. It was very, very interesting. As I said, plenty of ideas. Thank you very much. Bye.
Manuela, welcome. Carla, thank you.
Thank you so
Joseph.
much. Thank you, everyone.
Yep.
Bye.
Pablo, thank you.
Thank you so much, Craig.
Yep, of course.
Thank you, Craig. Take care, everybody. See you later, Kathy.
Cheers, Lee. Thank you, Gennady.
Thank you, sir. Take care.
Carla.